Oh, you thought the A's were just going to roll over in Seattle? Think again today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am your host, Booney. One name, all passion. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. This isn't just another A's podcast. This is the most informative and insightful show on the A's, period. We cover the A's every single day, breaking down games, delivering the latest team news, and giving you deep, thoughtful analysis you will not find anywhere else. If it's happening in Sacramento or in Las Vegas, we got you covered. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. The A's weren't the only team in the organization with a big win. The Aviators had their home opener last night, and we're breaking down last night's electric season opener between the Aviators and the Reno Aces. Let me tell you, folks, if you weren't tuned in, you missed a thriller in the desert. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's dive into what went down in Vegas last night. That's a bit later. The A's are coming off a much-needed win against the Mariners, snapping what has felt like an endless streak of heartbreak against Seattle. But the question on everybody's mind is, can the A's keep the momentum rolling and take another one tonight? We'll cover that soon. First, the Athletics walked into T-Mobile Park and shut the door on the Mariners, blanking them 7-0 in a game that was a lot closer than the score suggests. Let's start with the obvious. Jeffrey Springs was untouchable. Seattle hitters had no answers, no adjustments, and quite frankly, no chance. Springs racked up 9 strikeouts. He was racking up strikeouts like he was getting paid per K, finishing his night making Julio Rodriguez, a so-called superstar, look like a little leaguer. The game started slow. It felt like the opener on Thursday. Both teams seemed to be stuck in neutral for the first few innings, with pitchers Luis Castillo for Seattle and Jeffrey Springs for the A's putting on an absolute clinic. Let's be honest, the first 4 innings felt like watching 2 heavyweight boxers sizing each other up without throwing punches. The A's came out swinging the first inning, or at least tried to swing, but Castillo wasn't having it. Butler and Rooker flied out, and while Bleday and Langeliers managed to drill walks, Soderstrom grounded out to end the inning. 0 runs, 0 hits, 0 excitement. Springs took the mound, and the big question with Springs was, how is he going to look? How is he going to come back after literally 3 years of not pitching consistently in a rotation? And Springs was just dominant. Strikeouts galore. Robles and Rodriguez went down swinging, while Cal Raleigh managed to walk Arozarena fly it out to center. Another inning in the books with nothing but goose eggs on the scoreboard. Second inning, the A's showed a flicker of life when Gio Urshela singled to right, but Muncy grounded into a fielder's choice, erasing Urshela from the base pass. Wilson grounded out to end the inning. Still no runs. Well, how about the Mariners? Same story. Springs struck out Polanco and Solano like it was batting practice. Garver grounded out to third, and we rolled into the third inning, still waiting for fireworks. Third and fourth innings. Let's fast forward through these innings as it was more of the same. Butler grounded out. Rooker struck out. Bleday struck out. You get the idea. Meanwhile, Springs kept mowing Mariners down like it was 2022. For 4 innings, Luis Castillo was cruising, but then the A's said, enough of this. And quietly, after Max Muncy and Jacob Wilson were retired easily, Lawrence Butler got the party started with a 2-out double in the 5th. And Brent Rooker, well, he did Brent Rooker things. He followed it up by sending a baseball into orbit, a 390-foot bomb to dead center that barely cleared the fence. And just like that, the A's were up 2-0. It got scary for the A's in the 5th, real scary. Garver singled, Polanco singled, Springs came back and struck out Solano, and with 1 out, in my opinion, one of the biggest plays of the game, if not the biggest, Dylan Moore singled to center. But Garver, trying to score on this single, got thrown out at home on a great throw by J.J. Bleday. Springs shut them down with Crawford hitting a line drive to center field. And again, Bleday made an impressive play to end the inning. Crisis averted. The A's kept the pressure on, but couldn't add to their lead. Soderstrom reached on an infield single, but got caught trying to stretch it to second on an errant throw. He actually made it to second, but overslid the bag and got tagged out. Seth Brown walked, but was left stranded as Urshela hit a ball hard, but lined out to center. I expected Jeffrey Springs to get pulled after the 5th inning because he did get hard. Was shocked that Kotsay let him go into the 6th. Thought it was a big mistake. But hey, there's a reason why Mark Kotsay is managing the A's, and I'm hosting Locked On A's. Big difference. He let Springs continue, and Springs continued his dominance on the mound for the A's in the bottom half. He struck out Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh yet again. Springs was pitching like he had ice water in his veins. Seattle just couldn't touch him. And in the 7th inning, well, the floodgates opened. The inning was pure chaos, and we loved every second of it. Wilson singled, didn't hit the ball hard, just kind of placed it down the first base. Did what he had to do in order to get on base. Lawrence Butler walked, and after Rooker struck out swinging with 2 outs, and again, we talked a little bit about Bleday throwing out Garver at home plate to be the biggest play of the game. If that wasn't the biggest, this may have been. Now here's the scene. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. Seattle pulls Castillo, goes to the left-hander, and Bleday hits an infield single. Bleday literally got jammed on the pitch. He looped it over the pitcher's head in front of the shortstop. Wasn't hit hard at all. I mean, may have come off the bat at like 5 miles per hour. You get the picture. The crazy part about the play, it was an infield hit. Well, Wilson was off at contact, and he kept going. Instead of just stopping at third, he rounded third and scored. That may have been the biggest play. Instead of it being 2-0, bases loaded, 2 outs, it's now 3-0 1st and 2nd, and that was a wrap. Langelier stepped up and delivered a clutch single to left that brought Butler home, 4-0 A's. And then Soderstrom, that man again, smashed a ground rule double that scored J.J. Bleday and moved Langeliers to third, 5-0. Seattle had no answers for the A's offense. Andahar walked to load the bases, but Gio Urshela again hit another ball hard, but lined out to end the inning before things could get even more out of hand. The Mariners tried to rally in their half of the 7th, but couldn't get anything going against Justin Sterner, who was lights out during spring training. He walked the first 2 batters, came back and got Polanco to ground out, and Solano struck out. Kotsay came to the mound, lifted Sterner, for the lefty specialist, TJ Mark McFarland. And if you heard me in the offseason, I've said it time in and time out again. Kotsay used McFarland last year like he used him last night. One batter, a lefty, a third of an inning pitched. Thank you very much. See you later. McFarland's had 2 outings so far in this young season. He's pitched a total of 11 pitches. He's pitched 1 full inning. He struck out 2. McFarland is just unbelievable in that situation. And again, last night he came in and he shut the door with Cal Raleigh striking out swinging on 3 pitches. 8th inning was special just because it was a little Max Muncy magic. And he decided it was his time to shine in the top of the 8th. He obliterated a pitch from left-hander Saucedo for a 430-foot homer to left center. That ball might still be traveling somewhere over the Puget Sound. The A's extended their lead to 6-0, and Muncy reminded everyone why he's a force to be reckoned with his first career home run and first career hit. Rooker and Bleday added singles later in the inning, but Langoliers couldn't keep the rally alive as he grounded into a fielder's choice. Still, the A's tacked on another run, and Seattle looked completely deflated heading into their half of the 8th. Rodriguez managed a single for Seattle in the bottom of the 8th, but once again, Cal Raleigh struck out swinging to end their hopes. And as if we didn't need any more fireworks, well, Luis Urias, pinch hitting for Gio Urshela, stepped up and crushed a 396-foot homer to left center in the 9th inning. Urias said, "Hold my Gatorade," and delivered one final blow to his former team and Seattle's morale. The score was now 7-0 A's. Mitch Spence closed things out for the A's in style in the bottom of the 9th, striking out Arozarena again. Garver lined out to left, and after a base hit by Mastroboni, Solano grounded out to second to seal Seattle's fate. Final score, Athletics 7, Mariners 0. What a game. This was a complete team effort from the A's. Stellar pitching from Springs and company, timely hitting from Rooker, Muncy, Langoliers, and Urias, and solid defense that shut down every attempt by Seattle to rally. A's fans, this is what we have been waiting for. A dominant win against a division rival. Let's savor this one because it shows what this team is capable of when everything clicks. It doesn't last long as the A's are back at it this evening and the pitching just keeps coming for the Mariners in Bryce Miller. Up next. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of ballpark food. And if you are looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as game time gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On A's, and as the host of Locked On A's, I will be going to opening day, and I can count on Game Time to help grab tickets that meet my needs. I recently grabbed last-minute tickets for a game, and Game Time had unbeatable prices, which meant more money for food and merchandise. This makes finding the best deals effortless. It filters out the fluff and highlights the top discounts in the stadium. I love that I can preview my exact seat before purchasing. No bad surprises when I get to the stadium. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it? Game time? The A's are coming off a much-needed win against the Mariners, snapping what has felt like an endless streak of heartbreak against Seattle. But the question on everybody's mind is, can the A's keep the momentum rolling and take another one tonight? The Mariners have absolutely owned the A's since 2023, with a record of 22 wins and 5 losses going into last night's game. But something clicked for the A's yesterday, and they managed to pull off the upset. Now, the challenge is proving that wasn't just a fluke. Tonight, they are up against another tough test because Bryce Miller, Seattle's young ace, is taking the mound. Let me tell you about Bryce Miller. This guy's filthy. He's got swing and miss stuff for days, and he's not afraid to attack hitters. Miller relies heavily on his fastball, sinker, and split finger pitches. He throws those 3 about 75% of the time. And when he mixes in his curveball and slider, forget about it. His fastball sits at around 95 with movement that'll make you think it's dancing out there. Last season, he was lights out. 12 wins, 8 losses with a 2.94 ERA over 180 innings. He struck out 171 batters while walking just 45. That's elite command, folks. And here's the kicker. The current A's roster has struggled against Miller in their limited encounters. They are just 4 for 34 against him historically. That's a batting average of 118 if you're keeping score at home. So if the A's want to pull off another upset tonight, they are going to need to find a way to break through against this guy early, because once Miller settles in, forget about it. Game over. Now, let's talk about who's taking the ball for the A's tonight. Osvaldo Bido. Bido showed some serious promise in the second half of last season. I covered him all offseason, but this spring has been rough for him. Over 16 2/3 innings in spring training, Bido gave up 17 hits and 13 earned runs for an ERA of 7.02. He did strike out 18 batters and only walked 5, which is encouraging, but opponents hit 262 against him. The Mariners have had success against Bido in small sample sizes, batting 364 in just 22 at-bats. No single player has more than 3 plate appearances against him, though. So there's hope he can keep them guessing. With that being said, I did say Jeffrey Springs had a rough spring this year as well, and we all saw what happened there. So let's talk strategy here. The A's will need to be patient at the plate against Miller. He pounds the zone and doesn't walk many hitters. So swinging at bad pitches will only play into his hands. Look for the A's to try and work counts early and maybe ambush fastballs in hitter-friendly situations. On the flip side, Bido needs to keep the Mariners lineup off balance. Seattle thrives on hitting mistakes. So if Bido can locate his pitches and mix things up effectively, he might be able to keep this game close. Now let's talk about what this game means for both teams. For the Mariners, they are looking to bounce back after losing last night and continue their dominance over the A's. They're favored heavily tonight with a money line of -158, while the A's sit at a +134 as underdogs. The over-under is set at 7 runs even, which has hit in the first 2 games of the series. Both numbers feel like it is fair, given how dominant Miller can be and how inconsistent Bido has been lately. But here's why I'm excited about tonight. This feels like one of those games where anything could happen. The A's showed us last night that they still have some fight in them. And if they can channel their energy again tonight, we might just see another upset in the making. I think Bryce Miller is going to be tough. There's no denying that. But baseball is unpredictable, folks. If the A's can stretch out a couple of runs early and Bido can give 5 solid innings, this game could come down to the bullpen. And you know who we haven't seen yet? Mr. Miller. Anything can happen. So here's my call. Mariners might be favored, but I'm rolling with the A's tonight. Let's say A's squeak out a 4-3 win with Mr. Miller closing it out in the 9th. Call me optimistic, but I think last night's win lit a fire under the A's. Speaking of teams, how about that team in Vegas? The Aviators home opener up next. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, and if you are right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, Prize Picks keeps every game exciting. This week, I'm picking Aaron Judge for more than 1 home run and Shohei Ohtani for more than 1 stolen base. It's that easy. Setting up a lineup takes less than 60 seconds, and when you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. I always take advantage of Taco Tuesdays, where Prize Picks offers discounts on select player projections for even more value. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, if you caught my preview show on the Las Vegas Aviators last week, you'll know I tried my hand at predicting the Aviators starting lineup. And while I didn't quite nail the batting order, I did get all the names right. And I'll take that as a win. But enough about me. Let's talk about the guys who really delivered last night. And it was first inning fireworks right off the bat. The Aviators wasted no time getting on the board thanks to Darell Hernaiz. He batted in the 3-hole, and he stepped up with 2 outs in the first inning and absolutely crushed a solo home run. That ball was launched, folks. Hernaiz set the tone early and showed why he's going to be one to watch this season. JT Ginn was the ace of the night, and he started on the bump for the Aviators, and he set the tone right from the onset. This guy was on fire. JT Ginn threw 5 innings of near perfection, allowing just 1 hit, striking out 8 batters, and issuing only 1 walk. 8 strikeouts in 5 innings? That's what I call domination. JT had his stuff working. His fastball had life. His off-speed pitches were nasty, and he kept the Reno hitters guessing all night. Way to go, JT Ginn. Fast forward to the 5th inning, and Denzel Clark made his presence felt. With 2 outs, Clark drew a walk and did what he does best. He swiped second with ease. This guy is a menace on the base pass. And who else but Esteury Ruiz to drive him in? Ruiz came through with a clutch RBI single to make it 2-0 Aviators through 5 innings. That's what you call manufacturing runs, folks. Speed kills, and this lineup has plenty of it. Colby Thomas. Let's talk about a little Colby Thomas. Colby Thomas put an exclamation point on this game. With the Aviators clinging to a 2-1 lead, Colby Thomas stepped up and absolutely obliterated a pitch for a solo home run over the center field fence. I mean, this ball was crushed. It gave the Aviators some much-needed breathing room at 3-1 and showcased Thomas's raw power. This kid has some serious pop in his bat. Mark my words, we are going to see more moonshots from him this season. And let's not forget about the bullpen. Grant Holden and Elvis Alvarado were called upon in high-leverage situations, and they did not disappoint. I called this in my preview show. I said it would be Grant Holman. I said it would be Elvis Alvarado. Holman came in for the 8th inning and was lights out. He pitched a perfect frame and struck out 2 batters. That's how you lock it down. Alvarado took over the 9th to close things out. Yes, he gave up a 2-run homer that made it a little too close for comfort, but he kept his composure and got the final out to seal the deal. It wasn't perfect, but hey, a win's a win. Aviators 3, Aces 2. Let's give a quick shout out to some of the offensive stars from last night. Darell Hernaiz, 2 for 3 with a solo homer. This guy's already making his case as one of the team's most reliable bats. Colby Thomas, 1 for 4 with that absolute bomb in the 8th, a big-time moment for a young player. How about our first round pick out of Arizona, catcher Daniel Susac, 2 for 4 on the night, quietly productive and doing his job at the plate. And any night can't go without talking about Nick Kurtz, and he was solid, 1 for 3 with a double and a walk. Showed great discipline at the plate and made his presence felt. What a way to kick off the season for the Aviators. A strong performance from JT Ginn on the mound, timely hitting from Hernaiz and Thomas, and solid bullpen work from Holman and Alvarado. It all added up to an impressive 3-2 victory over Reno. If this game is any indication of what's to come, Aviators fans are in for a treat this season. The team has speed, power, pitching depth, you name it. And let's not forget, these guys are just one step away from joining the big league club in Sacramento. The future is bright for the A's organization, that's for sure. A's, Mariners, 6:40, first pitch. Gotta have it. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On MLB season previews. Every contender, every division, everything you need to know. Find all 6 episodes on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.